In the logic of the British monarchy, a residence is never just a house. It is a precise indicator of constitutional standing. When the sovereign reallocates a home, they are recalibrating an individual's proximity to the throne. For the Duke of York, this distance has reached a critical threshold. State protection has been replaced by a private arrangement of necessity. On May 6, 2026, the fragility of this compromise was tested near Wolverton. Alex Jenkinson breached a security perimeter once considered impenetrable. He reached within 50 yards of the king's brother. The Duke was walking his dogs, accompanied by a single, unarmed officer. The armed shield of the Metropolitan Police, governed by the Ravec Protocol, has been withdrawn. Searching Jenkinson's vehicle, authorities discovered a crowbar. While the legal intent is documented, the breach highlights a profound vulnerability. It confirms the precarious nature of the Duke's current status. Moving to Marsh Farm in 2026 represented a calculated institutional shift. This property is a functional enclosure rather than a residence. Security was funded by the king's private purse. It is an architecture of containment. The household is now a skeletal operation. One housekeeper, one cook, and an aide. This is the clinical reality of a prince in transition. Can an institution maintain its sanctity while systematically distancing its own blood? The monarchy survives through such difficult, calculated separations. The relocation from the 30-room Royal Lodge was not a negotiation. It was the final resolution of a 3-year diplomatic impasse directed by the sovereign. Status in the House of Windsor is measured by square footage. By this metric, the Duke's era of prominence has reached its conclusion. This decline follows a long-standing pattern of financial vulnerability. In 2007, the sale of Sunninghill Park to a Kazakh billionaire signaled a reliance on external capital that the Crown found difficult to justify. Institutional neutrality cannot survive the shadow of opaque financial associations. On February 19, 2026, the situation transitioned from a private dispute to a legal crisis. The Duke was detained at Aylsham Police Station for 11 hours on suspicion of misconduct in public office. The investigation focused on the exploitation of his role as a special representative for trade. Records recovered from the Jeffrey Epstein estate suggest a breach of constitutional trust. They document the unauthorized sharing of confidential government briefings. The Duke's private liquidity has evaporated. He now subsists on a £20,000 naval pension and a restricted state allowance. Private wealth is finite. Institutional survival is absolute. The king viewed the £3 million annual security bill as a liability the Crown will no longer subsidize. For the sovereign, patience is not an infinite resource or a personal sentiment. It is a strategic budgetary decision. Geography has always been a tool of royal isolation. In 1936, the Duke of Windsor was moved to Les Moulins de la Tuileries. This was a strategic separation from the machinery of state. Marsh Farm serves the same constitutional purpose today. The Duke is now restricted by the reality of his legal standing. International travel is a theoretical possibility, but practically impossible due to the threat of foreign depositions. Palace officials view the Duke's movements through the lens of institutional risk management. His attempts to solicit security funding from Middle Eastern interests have further strained his relationship with the king. To the sovereign, seeking external capital to bypass a royal directive is a fundamental breach of loyalty. This vulnerability has created an unintended legal consequence. The Sussex legal team has cited the recent breach in their litigation against the Home Office. They are using the Duke's lack of safety as evidence that the current protection protocols are insufficient. The Duke is now a legal instrument for his nephew and a liability for his brother. He remains a prince of the blood, living in a farmhouse protected by a perimeter he cannot afford. The monarchy functions as a system that prioritizes the office over the individual. Does a king owe more to his family or to the survival of the crown itself? Share your perspective in the comments and subscribe for more in-depth royal analysis.